Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another episode review from Season 5 of The Loud House. Today's episode is titled, Zack Attack. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. The episode begins with Zack receiving what he believes to be information confirming that an alien spaceship will be landing in Royal Woods, and he plans to throw a party for the occasion. On that night, no spaceship can be seen, but Zack doesn't want his guests to leave feeling cheated and lied to. He gets Rusty to shine a flashlight from his bedroom window, the light looking like a spaceship, and everyone sees a UFO in the sky. However, Rusty starts having fun with the light and accidentally creates the illusion that the ship landed at Tall Timbers Park. They go to look for the ship, but can't find anything. Unfortunately for Zack, his parents whip the kids into a panic by saying the disappearance of aliens means they're taking over human bodies and planning to attack. The entire town begins freaking out as well, with no one being sure who is or isn't an alien. To rid the town of its mass hysteria, Zack and his friends set up a plan to convince everyone that the aliens are leaving once and for all. However, Lincoln and Clyde botch the spaceship from taking off, and the townsfolk prepare to charge in to attack the aliens. Zack finally admits everything that happened up to this point was all fake, and that he didn't mean to have his staged alien sighting cause this much trouble. Just as Chandler is about to make fun of Zack the way he was going to all along, everyone sees what looks to be a real spaceship flying through the sky, leaving Zack amazed that his crazy conspiracies are not crazy after all. Unbeknownst to everyone else, the spaceship was being remote controlled by a money-hungry Flip. Again, does a Flip Miss Carol mean absolutely nothing to his character? Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. When I first heard about this episode and looked at what it was going to be about, I set my expectations considerably low, given how I was sure Lincoln and/or Clyde would get worked into the main conflict somehow, given their star-billing status of the series. Regardless, I kept an open mind about this being an episode starring someone other than those two characters, and surprisingly, the episode made that happen. It was really great seeing someone like Zack finally get his own episode after nearly 4 seasons of him just being another friend of Lincoln's. The way the story was set up, Zack was realistically the only character who could make this kind of episode work without having to share the spotlight with Lincoln, the latter of whom getting more screen time than deserved even if he is the main star. I'll have more to say about him in my flying solo review, but for right now, Zack was able to carry this episode by himself without his white-haired friend. Well, technically Rusty was sharing the lead with Zack instead of Lincoln, so at least that created a character pairing rather unique to the series as of late. But in any case, this episode helped to expand the kind of character Zack has portrayed for the longest time. He's a kid who believes in urban legends, thinks extraterrestrials exist, and goes so far as to learn alien language, something he started speaking since he was a baby. You could say his parents were an influence on him since they're just as convinced as their son when it comes to saying aliens are real. All the high-tech equipment the Girdles have is the only proof you need to say, without a doubt, there's nothing that could make them think aliens are not real. I mean, really, who else owns a flashlight that can project a UFO-shaped light into the dark sky? These people really want to believe in life on other planets. And apparently, their belief in aliens is enough to not only scare a bunch of impressionable kids, including a bully like Chandler, but also an entire city of adults. Even though I do like the episode for its token alien invasion plot, and for giving a character like Zack a chance to show off how cool an alien sighting can be up close, I do have a few critiques about this. The first thing that struck me as a little odd was how quick all of Royal Woods was willing to believe aliens were taking over human bodies, and how everyone was getting extremely suspicious of who just might be an alien in disguise. Granted, this is a universe where ghosts are proven to exist, but there has never been any indication until now that people believe in aliens as much as they might believe in ghosts. The way they boarded up their homes really shows how terrified these people can get. The only ones we see making visual contact with Zack's UFO flashlight were his parents and his classmates. We never see anyone else, not even someone as skeptical as Lisa Loud, who claims she'll be on an intergalactic council one day, see this spaceship in the sky. If, let's say, Catherine Mulligan and her news team were out looking for a story, and they just so happened to see a spaceship, and they captured it on video, they could go to Tall Timbers Park to find Zack's search party doing the same same thing. In that respect, it could have made Zach's sighting a lot more believable to grown-ups since, unlike the kids, there would be visual proof of aliens. Instead, we were given something a lot weaker, which would be, you have to believe these kids since they were hanging out with a bunch of crazy people who believe aliens are real. We don't have any video proof of what we saw, but gosh darn it, you just have to take our word for it. We're not crazy. Sure, you can say Richie took a picture of the craft on his phone, but even so, there's no follow-up with his character potentially showing his picture to the news station or other adults as his way of saying, this is the only proof I have. No one else took pictures, so does that mean only those with proof are to be believed? That's where the second problem of the episode comes in. A rushed conflict with gaps in exposition that could have saved the story if it was given more time. Even though I don't like making comparisons too often to other shows, the idea of faking an alien landing was done better in the Halloween special of Hey Arnold. In that special, the kids went all out on trying to scare everyone in the city. They dressed up as aliens, trying to look as convincing as possible, set up a water tower to look like a spacecraft, and hijacked a radio signal to get everyone's attention about a landing that was about to occur. Their prank was seen and heard by an entire city and its news organization, not just a bunch of kids and wacky alien hunters in the woods. If the writing staff had taken some of the key storyline elements from that Hey Arnold episode and put their own creative spin on things for this episode, this could have easily made for a much more interesting story. Quite possibly another Halloween special or just a standard 20-minute production. The results would have been pretty much the same no matter what. Ending with Zach having to come clean about his desire to finally prove his naysayers wrong caused a bigger problem than he wanted. Maybe he could have just told the truth from the beginning, but you have to admit that when you look at the kind of paranoia created among the citizens of Royal Woods, the chances of him getting in huge trouble was to be expected. Surprisingly, as far as we know, his parents didn't come down that hard on him. I guess you could say it was because everyone saw a real spaceship flying in the sky, more or less vindicating Zach and his parents of any and all times they were considered crazy for believing in things that weren't real. Of course, the only one who knows aliens aren't real is Flip, who, once again, clearly hasn't changed his ways since his Christmas Scrooge episode. This is probably going to be the last time I ever mention this potential retcon in these reviews, but you would think trying to write his character as a man who finally gave up his greedy and money-hungry ways wouldn't be too hard. I guess the show still needs to have an antagonist, and what better way to keep him going than to fly a drone around the sky to persuade people to buy anti-alien merch. No rest for the wicked, it seems. What a shame. Overall, this episode was actually decent enough for it to not be boring. If we were given the same episode, but it centered around Lincoln and/or Clyde, it honestly would have felt boring and bland in my book. If anything is to be learned from this, it would be you don't have to rely on Lincoln or his #1 best friend to make a good episode. They aren't as big on aliens as Zach, so putting those two in the lead wouldn't have had the same effect on their characters in the way it would for Zach. The Girdle Kid finally had his own episode, and the type of conflict presented worked perfectly for his character, providing him with some much needed development, and I highly respect the production staff for finally giving this kid a chance. Aside from the idea of making the episode longer to allow ample time for a more compelling story, this is easily one of the best non-Lincoln / characters within Lincoln's social circle episodes. And as a Pennsylvania native, major props for a quick reference to the Poconos. With that said, I give Zack Attack an 8.6 out of 10. Well, folks, that concludes my review of Zack Attack. Hopefully now we get some more episodes like this and Cowpie Kid in the future, where perhaps Rusty and Stella get their leading spotlight moments, and not have to default to Lincoln and Clyde. Now that friendship pairing is something I will be talking about a lot more in my next Season 5 episode review, and trust me, someone needs to address that elephant in the room. So, as far as this episode goes, what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.